Well, welcome back. I'm back at the boat. I spent last night on the boat. The boat's now in the water. So, spent yesterday just cleaning the inside of the boat. I couldn't do anything outside. It was really cold. In fact, last night it got below freezing. So, it was nice inside. I had a heater running. But today it looks like I'll be just doing more indoor stuff. It might go up to the high 40s Fahrenheit this afternoon, which is it's okay, but it's going to be. I mean, I don't know if you can hear the wind. It was howling all last night. There were small craft advisories all night long, and I think it's going to last through most of today. So even if I go out, it's going to be a a tough wind chill. But I'm up in the V berth right now, and what I plan on doing is start doing the wiring. This is the control wiring that goes to my remote up on the bow, and then these are the extension for the control wiring that will go all the way back to the electrical panel. So I'm going to put connectors on these. Everything's color coded. Things are labeled. I labeled all this at home, so hopefully I don't have to do a lot of thinking today. I just need to route wires and crimp on connectors, and I don't know if I'll get power to it, but I should get pretty close. If I'm only doing this indoors today, I got basically all day long until I get too exhausted to do anything more. That's now tucked up to the top of the door. I got the junction box in. I just have to coil up the wires and keep them out of the way of the chain and put the cover on. Well, before I put the cover on, I have some spray that kind of protects contacts from corrosion. So I'm going to spray that over those terminals. Well, the forward part's done. I think that was basically the hardest part. Working in the electrical panel should be a lot easier. Now the first thing I'm going to do is kill the power to the breaker, the AC power. This is the AC on this side, and then on that side is the 12 volt. So even though I'm just working on the 12 volt, I don't want to be working around the back of the panel with the AC on. So I'm going to go shut off the dock power, and I'll just use 12 volt lights to see what I'm doing. So here's my plan. Tried to color code everything. Is everything I just did up in the anchor locker. And this represents the, well, most of this represents the electrical panel. This is the solenoid switch, the up-down switch right here. So, and these are the big cables, and these 4 terminals represent the top of the switch. There's 3 little spade connectors near the front, and then there's these 4 or these are in the front, and these are on the top. As you can kind of see, the 3 there, and then I have lugs on the ones in the back just temporarily. So I'm going to cut the big cables, get that done first, and then I have to wire up the low voltage, the 12 volt control stuff. And I don't have any more spare breakers. What I do have is this one here. You can see there's multiple ones going into one side of the breaker. There's 3 of them, and it's labeled for instruments. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewire this, take one wire off of this and run it to a bus bar in the back, and then take all these other wires, including the control wire, and then wire it into the bus bar. That'll clean this up, and it'll make for a cleaner installation, because I just don't want to slave another 4th wire off of this. In fact, I think there's already 4 there, so there'd be a 5th one, and that's way too many. I straightened up a lot of the wiring, and I took one larger wire and ran it back to the side of the bus bar. It was not being used. I had a positive wire run back, but it wasn't hooked to a breaker. So I thought, well, okay, I already have a positive breaker or bus bar here. So I tied in all the instruments, the existing instruments here, and then the power for the solenoid or for the remote will get tied in right over here as well. Well, I have the main number 2 cables hooked to the solenoid. So I'm going to take another red positive and run it to its 70 amp breaker. Well, I've got most of the big cables run behind the panel. The only thing left to do is I have to run a big number 2 black negative from the panel down to the battery, and also I have to run the control wires for the up-down switch at the helm station. So I'd say I'm about 2/3 of the way done. I got most of the really big stuff done. There was quite a lot of work right there at the panel. As I mentioned before, there was a lot of wiring that needed to be straightened out, and it looks a lot neater. I can't say that for the cabin. I mean, it's a wreck. I mean, all the boxes I have here of supplies, yeah, it's, I'm going to start cleaning up so I can at least have a place to sit. And it's time for dinner. Well, that's it for this episode. I got quite a bit done today. I got a little more wiring to do, as I mentioned. Tomorrow I might wash down the outside of the boat and put the sails up if the if the weather is good, I know it's going to be sunny. The question is it going to be, warm enough? But otherwise, tonight's the last night on the boat, and I'll be headed home. Thanks for watching.